Okay, so what's up everyone? I thought I'd do a quick update. I haven't got any clothes on. That's a lie. I've got shorts on, but so I just bought this, which is a Nikon F3 or Nikon, and I bought it for quite cheap actually. The guy who was selling it, he was like, "Oh yeah, these cameras are quite hard to come by now," and I was like, "Yeah, no shit." Because these sell for like 700 just for the body, and I got it for much less than that. I got it for below 400 with a lens, but the lens is shot. It's covered with mold and fungus and horrible stuff, and it's obviously not been looked after. This is in much worse condition when I picked it up. The whole top here was just coated in dust and stuff, which I've cleaned the majority of it off, but there's still some marks of it. But this is very much a project camera. Even though I saved like a couple $100 on it, it is very much still a project camera in that I've already sorted one thing. This eyepiece cover here was absolutely disgusting, but I managed to fix the majority of it, if you can see. Like, that wasn't even see-through when I got it. However, there is one thing. You can see, like, the purple marks near the rubber. The rubber does come off, but you can see the purple marks where my cleaning cloth can't quite get to it to, like, do that, which is another thing. But if you can see in here, I don't know if you can see actually. You see those little marks in there? You can kind of see. That's actually fungus inside of the prism, which normally it would be quite a big deal, because otherwise there'd be no way to get actually inside the prism. However, because this is an F3, it's not a big deal because the prism just pops off, and there's 2 screws on either side. You just undo those, the top pops off and you can get into it. Job done. Which is quite handy. This screen was also quite filthy, the focusing screen. However, I have cleaned it. I just gave it a good old wipe with some like glasses cleaning cloth, and good as new. So yeah, that was that. And then I can't tell if this is a scratch or if it's I think it is, but so that was that job. So this is going to be a weekend thing. I'm going to film it, taking this apart and cleaning out the fungus. You can probably see it better there. Look, there it is. That like white line stuff, that's the fungus, and it's on the inside. So that needs to be all cleaned up and sorted out, preferably as soon as possible, but it is going to have to wait till the weekend. Luckily it's a Thursday, so not too long for that, because it does spread, which is why I haven't got a lens on here at the moment. Because it just can spread, but I don't want to leave this without the viewfinder on it, because the focusing screen is, if it's damaged, you just have to replace it. That's it, there's no saving it. The other thing that we need to do is I need to find a way to glue this back down. As you can see, the leatherette's kind of peeling a bit. I don't really want to replace it because that means taking all these knobs and switches and stuff off, and I just don't have the tools for that. So the other thing is this rewind knob. I'm pretty sure someone's had it apart and then tried to put it back on, and I think they've like cross-threaded it basically. So I'm going to have a look at that. If it's cross-threaded, it's not a big deal, I can just put it back on. If there is something wrong with it, that's a pretty big deal, because look, you can like lift this out and it'll go back down. But if it comes out halfway, it like sort of drops into this notch, and you have to pull it out to get it back, which is kind of weird. So I was going to have a look at that, because it should not do that. Like, that shouldn't be a thing. It's like sitting slightly off. Don't know if you can see, there's a gap on this side and not on that side, so that's why I think it's been cross-threaded. But other than that, it all works perfectly fine. Like, it's just cosmetic stuff basically, aside from the fungus. The other thing I was going to do is research. You can see the lettering's like kind of yellowish under my serial number. I was just going to restore that with some white paint, which you can actually do quite simply. I'm not sure I'll do this one, because this one's fine. Like, it's still obviously white, and this is basically yellow at this point. So, but if I do this one and it looks a lot whiter than that, then I'll probably end up doing this lettering too. But I don't think I will, because it looks fine, in my opinion. And then, yeah, so that's about it to do with this camera. I think I'm going to make this into a whole video of just fixing and finding out whatever else is wrong with this. I have got a film in it that I'm running through quickly. As you can see, the shutter counter's on, whatever that says, 14 or whatever. The problem with GoPros, you can't focus in the moment. Yeah, I've got like 15 more shots to take with this, to just get it out the way and see if it actually works. But I don't want them, because if it does work, I don't want them to be like all just random shots, you know. I want them to be relatively okay that I can use, because, and then like, but not so good that if it doesn't work I won't be too bothered about it, you know what I mean? But that's that. The lens, I'll show you the lens actually. Here it is. It's in the bag of confinement, so I don't want to put it in the cabinet because it's just disgusting. You probably won't be able to see through the bag, but I don't think you do want to see either. It's disgusting inside. There's like all mannerisms of thing growing inside of it. So, yeah. Anyway, that's the current plan. Yeah. I'll update you when I get onto the next bit of doing it, I guess. Right now it's Thursday, so probably Friday night or Saturday morning. Alright, so first things first, taking this off. So we just go whoop, pull those, and off it pops, just like that. I have discovered there's actually fungus on the screen too, so we have to clean that. How I discovered it is literally, you can see in the corner there, it's a bit darker, or like there's some shading kind of. Yeah, that's how basically. So we're gonna get that apart and try and get this apart with this old screwdriver set. Hopefully I don't have to buy a screwdriver set for this. Okay, so here we have the focusing screen disassembled. Here's the actual screen, here's the holder. And there's actually two parts to this. There's the matte side and the glass part, and they're held together by tape. So you just gotta take it apart and we can get to cleaning this. Right, the focusing screen is now back together. It's now nice and clear. You can see nothing on it anymore. So we'll go ahead and pop that back in the camera. I need my other hand for that. Just like that. And it pops. Alright, so we're on to the prism now. I've just taken the 4 screws out, so let's get the top off. Okay, so now we have the top off. So the part we're trying to get to is in here. So we have to undo all of this stuff and that mechanism in order to take the screen out. Okay, so we've now separated the finder assembly from here using, there's two, you see these two top silver screws, there's one there and there's one there. They both slot into those. That removes the entire finder assembly for the high point finder, which is this one. So now I've got to clean up this glass and put it back together. Right, so here's the shutter mechanism for closing the viewfinder if you're using long exposure time so excess light doesn't get through for the metering. Here's the eyepiece block which goes in here. This is what had all the fungus on it from in here, and as you can see I've put some cleaner fluid on it and it's changed the texture. It's not a see-through. I'll wipe that off in a second and we'll get to putting this back together and it should be all good to go. Okay, I've got the glass back inside the finder and yeah, good as new, pretty much. So now to get the shutter back on and put it back together. Okay, we've got the shutter mechanism back on and it is working. So now to put this back in there. Alright, so we've got the main housing back together with the two screws, that one here and the same on this side. And clear as a crystal. Good as new. Now to get the top housing back on and we're good to go. All the fungus has been cleared and it took a lot, or it was a lot faster than I thought it'd be, which is good. There we go, job done. Good as absolute new. The only problem is that I have is these rubber seals at the side. I don't have the correct glue to put them back on properly, so they'll have to do as they are for now, but that's that. I'm happy with that. Look at the crystal clearness of that glass. That is just beautiful. I'm happy with that. We sorted the focusing screen out too, at least I hope we did. This one's a lot harder to tell because of the finish and the fact that it's see-through but also not. But I'm hoping we sorted that too, which means this camera is now one step away, no, 2 steps away from being where I want it to be and happy. So let's plonk this back on, like so. Oof. Look at that, happy days. Right, there's only 2 things left to do with this, which is the rewind knob, which I need to do once I finish the roll that's in here, and the white lettering. And then I'm happy with that. I'm pleased. So I think we'll do white lettering another time because I don't have the correct white paint. I have water-based paint, but we need enamel paint for that. Otherwise the water-based paint will just wipe off. And as I say, this needs to be sorted when the film is out. But other than that, I'd say that's a pretty good job. Although most of it you didn't see, because as you can see, I've got no kind of rig to be able to do that. But I'm happy with that. Bosh, job done. Alright, quick one. I've decided I'm not going to repaint the lettering because it has sort of like the vintage aesthetic. Well, not really vintage aesthetic, I don't want to say that. That's like Instagrammy, but they're like, don't really know how to describe it, but like it has character, you know? Rather than it looking brand spanking new, it has character. Like it's being used, it has a story, you know? So I've decided I'm not going to redo the lettering. However, we do still need to do the film rewind knob. And I have a feeling we might need a new one. But regardless, I'm going to try fixing it anyway because I'm poor. That's the main thing really. That's why I bought it, because it was so cheap. The lens, I'm not going to have a go at trying because the equipment that I need that I don't have is most of it, and that's expensive. I can't afford that either, so I'm going to send the lens off to someone. It's one of those situations where I have a friend who knows a friend. so I'm not really confident in it, but it's a lot cheaper than it would be, so give it a shot. Anyway, it's not that great of a lens in the first place, so if it works, it works. If it doesn't work, I'm not really that bothered, because at the end of the day, either way, I'm going to resell it. So anyway, that's that. I'll see you back when I've finished the roll that's in the camera at the moment, and we're moving on to the film rewind knob fix. Okay, so as you know, since last time, I fixed all the stuff, all the fungus, everything is cleared, and the only thing left was the film rewind. Now, so today I was out shooting, and it just so happened that I finished the roll. I went to rewind the knob, and it just came off. So I had to fix it on the fly, and of course I haven't filmed it or taken any pictures, so I'm going to show you right now what I did. So I realised I don't have a place to put a camera. Give me a second. Okay, so the film is still in here. I did open the back, like the rewind lever came off halfway through winding. I didn't realise that it was halfway through only. I thought it finished. So I don't know what on this roll is good or not, but Fuji 200. Boop. Okay, so basically, you see this notch here? This is what slots into the top of the film spool that helps you rewind it inside. So if you see when I turn this, you see it turning? That's what it's supposed to do. Now, basically, the other problem I had was this lever kept flipping out all the way, and it wasn't like level. Or rather, you have to like push and pull it to make it go back in right. So if we just pop this out again, it also wasn't like flat. There's I don't know if you can see, but underneath here there's a metal plate, and the metal plate was on this side rather than underneath the spool. If I can you see up there, there's a metal plate? That's the part that was incorrectly placed, which meant that it wouldn't hold the lever. The lever would just flop around basically, so I couldn't do this, it would just flop around. So I put that back on, and I just happened to have my keys. So I put my keys into this to hold it, and then just wound on the knob again, basically. And it's good as new. That was that. So basically, this f3 is now perfect. Aside from all the small blemishes and stuff and wear and tear marks on the outside, it is a perfectly functional camera now, with no issues whatsoever, I hope. We just have to find out if this roll comes back or not. If it does, then it's a perfectly functional camera. If it doesn't, then I'll sell it. Simple as that. All the functions work. It's just, it won't be taking pictures. But I'll still be able to make a profit on it. But I'm thinking it is taking pictures because it did wind this film over. But yeah, that's that. I'm happy, I'm pleased. The camera actually works. Theoretically, yeah. That's that project finished.